people feel a part of something. Your vibe attracts your tribe. There's these tribes, there's this motivational pack where people are motivated to work out together. No shows get noticed. People save a mat. There's been studies that show, you're 76 to 80% more likely to finish a program that you've started with friends. So it is definitely the preferred form of working out, whether it's large or small group.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Fitness Founders Podcast. I'm Kevin Mannion, VP Marketing here at Glofox. This week we talked to Ann Marie Barbour, the founder of SoulBody. SoulBody develops boutique-style programs for big box gyms. In this episode, Ann Marie talks about how she grew a small company in Baltimore into an international business, the secret to creating great boutique offerings, and what independent studios can learn from traditional big box gyms. Okay, let's have a listen. Ann Marie Barbour, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Kevin. Happy to be here.
It's great to have you. So Ann Marie, you're based out of Baltimore, Maryland. Maybe just tell me a little bit about your business, SoulBody.
Sure. My business partner, Stacey Vandiver, and I started SoulBody really back in 2010, just teaching boutique style bar programming in larger clubs. We did that for a few years, really beta testing kind of our process and program and classes. And then in 2015, we really saw a need for larger clubs that we were teaching in to compete with these smaller boutique studios popping up all over the place for bar programming to start. So we created choreography, a training, a very high level comprehensive certification, and started training and certifying instructors and then delivering quarterly choreography for our instructors to go out there, we call them our squad, and teach our SoulBody bar classes in these larger clubs.
And how hard was it to make a transition from someone who was running a fitness studio to something that was a little bit bigger and more complicated?
For sure. It was hard. It was kind of like ignorance is bliss because we really didn't realize what we were embarking upon. And I think if we knew all the work, we may have not done it. Today, of course, we're happy that we did. It's a lot. We not only had to really create an actual certification. It started out as a 2-day cert, and then due to studios availability and what the clubs were looking for, we really shortened it to a full 1-day training. Again, a manual had to be created, choreography created, written, produced. We have videos, choreography notes, music playlist. We had to decide what kind of music. We decided to support original artists. So we used Spotify and iTunes in creating the music and the video and the choreography notes and the training. Then, everything that goes along with agreements for clubs and instructors and our fact sheet and our website. So it was a really big undertaking. But at the end of the day, we knew we really had a solid product in the 3 programs now that we've created, which is SoulBody Bar, which is a 1-hour bar fitness class using the ballet bar. We have SoulBody Unhitched, which now uses the weighted body bar for those clubs that don't have a fixed ballet bar. And then we saw the hit, high intensity interval training trend, the 30-minute workout. And we have that, no props. And that's our hit, or Tabata meets strength. So created 3 programs, have over 500 squad members teaching our programs in over 200 plus clubs. So since 2015, we've really ramped up and created, a solid business product and offering.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Tell me, what was it like in the first year? Did you keep your studio going? And, what were some of the hard things that happened as you were getting started?
Well, to be honest, we never were a bricks and mortar. We never were our own SoulBody studio. We were inside of various clubs in the Baltimore area. For example, Under Armour Performance Center, Merit Clubs, a very big chain of clubs here in Baltimore, as well as Brick Bodies, which is another big local family-owned chain. So we really were working out of these big clubs, and kind of that became our model. We said, great, the members were getting a top-tier boutique-style experience. we thought there are a lot of big box fitness chains or, multi-chain clubs out there that need to compete because they're getting killed by these boutique studios that are popping up on every street corner, really offering this experience at a really high level, not only with great instruction, but just a great overall experiential factor that people really want to be a part of. So we work now with these clubs to kind of create this vibe and tribe in a larger club setting.
Tell me what it's like working with those bigger clubs. How do you keep a stamp on your own brand and, your own programs and also help, align with their brands and their vision for how they want to run their gyms?
That's a great question because it really is co-branding. It really is partnering. And that's what we do. And, I've written an article in Club Solutions about the co-branding. If you think about it, okay, we're not going to compare ourselves to Starbucks, but Starbucks inside of a hotel, we allow the clubs to do what they do best. And we come in with the group fitness programming and we do what we do best. The club operators are running a club. They're selling memberships. There's personal training and small group training and equipment that needs to be purchased and communication with the members. To create programming is a lot of work. There are clubs out there like Equinox that's doing a really great job by building an in-house team and having them focus solely on proprietary programming. But many of us out there like Zumba or Les Mills, SoulBody, Pound, Bali X, these are programs where they come into these larger clubs and their brand stands out. It's on the timetable. People follow us on Instagram or follow these other programs on Instagram, find it at a different club. So they're getting two experiences, two brands, almost two cultures in one. But it works. It exists. It works.
It works. And tell me about the first steps in branching out of your local area. How did you obviously had a very successful business, a lot of word of mouth, brand awareness locally. How did you start to branch out at a national level?
Sure. Yeah, that was a lot of networking.
Mm-hmm.
We go to URSA, which is a big show every year. Yeah, URSA, IDEA. We hit the trade shows. We've definitely presented and done workshops. We've done the SCWs. And that kind of was the start where we get our brand out there in these conferences and trade shows. A lot of what Stacey Vandiver and I have done is definitely created, like you said, a following where we are, and then networked and talked to club managers, club owners, let them, communicated really what we built here. And we really consider these larger gyms our family of clubs. And we consider them, or we want them to consider us, their programming partner. So I think a lot of how we've done it was really through relationship building and really caring. We care about their success. We care about their group fitness schedule, and we care about their members' experience. And I think that really shines through. And of course, there's testimonials and referrals and word of mouth. So it's been very organic, to be quite honest with you.
Mm-hmm. How does it usually start with a big brand? Do you start with one or two locations, or how does the sales cycle work for something like this?
Yes, there's quite a few touch points, to go through. There's definitely a 6 to 9 month kind of lead time in really creating the relationship for sure, because this is a big decision for a lot of clubs. They want to feel very comfortable with their programming partner, whomever they bring in. Maybe there's master classes. But overall, it is usually piloted, you're correct, in 1 or 2 clubs. Say it's a 20 club chain. A lot of times they'll bring us in and say, okay, let's pilot it in 2 to 3 locations. Let's get the team built, a smaller team built. Let's see the feedback. Let's see the member experience. Let's, gauge the class numbers. And then once that's gauged and once the data is received to the club, then there's always more to come. So we'll do another teacher training. And then a lot of times, depending on location, we'll do a master teacher training. Because not only, will Stacey and I do the master trainings, the certifications, but the goal is, in Egypt, we did a training in Egypt, in Spain, in Costa Rica, in China. The goal is to train up master trainers. So when they want to have more trainings, they can just pick from, key trainers in that geographic location.
a lot of your business is reliant on training good trainers, finding those master trainers that you can rely on to train more people. How hard is it to make this scalable and build a program that works at scale?
Yeah, I mean, it is a little difficult because, of course, Stacey and I, we're the creators. We started it. We want people to have that same passion that we have, number one. And number two, to be able to effectively train the moves, the body alignment, the musicality, and be that kind of inspirational teacher to inspire our trainees to go out there and teach. So I think, again, it comes to relationship building then with our team. I think we've done a really great job. We normally start with the SoulBody teacher training. We pick out our stars. We see those that have a lot of experience maybe teaching pre-choreographed formats such as Les Mills or Zumba, to the beat of the music. Those instructors often do the best that understand, teaching to the beat. Then, they teach for a couple of months, but we have our eye on them and then invite them to join in our master trainer team. So it's a little bit of a two-step process. They take the teacher training. We, mark who has potential, and then they teach for a while, and then we train them as master trainers and kind of send them out into the world, but they're given a lot of material and training to help them be successful.
Okay, that makes sense. That's really cool. And so, it obviously took a lot of great relationship building, networking, and a good product to get your program to a national scale. What sort of challenges did you face when you started to move this overseas?
Yeah, distance is a tough thing. Here in the States, we have a really big team. It's easy for us to come in and out and be there. When you go clear across, the ocean and you're in different countries, there's separation. So thank goodness for technology now. We're Zooming, we're Skyping. We have virtual classes on WEX or in Burnalong, and we have our own classes that we send to our trainers. So, keeping up with the squad, we do that virtually. But again, the key is to have our ambassadors, our champions in these key geographic locations, to be the Ann Marie and Stacey in these locations, and the club owners, usually the club managers, to champion it and really be on their team for launches, getting new updated marketing materials from us. So we do need the managers and the owners of these clubs to make it a priority to help encourage their team and drive the programming.
What parts of the world would you say are growing fastest in this area, or you think are the hottest in terms of uptake of your particular programs?
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot in China. We see Asia really starting to accelerate, especially in the boutique market, and now bar. We're seeing Latin America, we were just in Central America, Mexico. We're seeing a really big uptick there as well. So we're really excited to expand in these regions. And for us, we do need proper representation. We're looking for distributors, possibly in these areas, that really know the market, that can help us accelerate and drive the programming. So we were now talking to distributors that understand where the power and popularity of boutique fitness, especially bar, is, because that's what we offer right now. And we're working with them to help scale and expand effectively.
Yeah. Okay. And I suppose this brings me on to the next topic, which is more in the area of boutique and group fitness. And, you've, I think, become pretty well known as an advocate of group fitness. Why do you think group fitness is growing so fast globally?
I think people like to work out in groups. I mean, group fitness, I've said it before in other podcasts and articles, is having a moment. And I always talk about CrossFit. They really started this community within a box. And now we talk about gyms creating the club within the club with group fitness. And we're seeing it in the boutiques. People feel a part of something. Your vibe attracts your tribe. There's these tribes, there's this motivational pack where people are motivated to work out together. No shows get noticed. People save a mat. There's been studies that show, you're 76 to 80% more likely to finish a program that you've started with friends. So it is definitely the preferred form of working out, whether it's large or small group.
Yeah, no, obviously. And do you think things have changed over the last few years from back when you were, running a smaller business?
I think what has changed is the level of instruction and the availability to get what we want when we want it at any time during the day. So I think group fitness has always been around. I mean, I was in it years and years ago with step aerobics at Brick Bodies. I mean, group fitness has always been a thing. There's always been the big fishbowl where people take the classes and everybody in the gym looks in. It's always been there. The instructors have always been kind of that welcoming face when people come into the gym and they come into the club within the club and check group fitness and feel special and feel part of something. That has always been there. I think when CrossFit came up and now all the boutiques, the instruction level, think about SoulCycle and, Flywheel and other forms of, all the boutique studios in New York City, it's got to be a top tier instruction. And then there's the Instagram stars that offer, whether they're on YouTube or have their own channel. And then there's all the virtual fitness apps, on-demand apps. So there's a lot out there. So these gyms, they need to compete at a really high level because I can just pull up my computer and follow a rock star instructor in my living room and get a pretty amazing group fitness experience. So what's changed is definitely the virtual, the boutique, and the higher echelon of instruction and talent.
Yeah, so you think that basically the quality of the product has gotten so much better over the past few years that that's driven more and more demand that's snowballed effectively?
Absolutely.
And then I suppose a whole, part of this group fitness is around building communities. And I'm sure you're advising all of your clients on how they can build better communities around their gyms. What sort of advice are you giving them? What are you telling them to do?
That's huge. I think they need to focus on it. I think they need to focus on group fitness. It's no longer an afterthought for the bigger clubs. They're realizing that now. I know before maybe it was the personal trainers, they're bringing in that ancillary income. Maybe it's the bigger machines that they're spending big money on and focusing on. But they now need to look at group fitness and whether they're going to do it proprietary and create their own programming. I just contributed again to Club Solutions in their blog. If they're going to go that route, then go that route. Hire full-time people that understand programming and creating a certification and really focus on a really strong, whether it's bar or cycle or HIIT, whatever it is. Make it a really strong program, or B, bring in SoulBody or bring in an outside group fitness programming company and allow them, like I said, to do what they do best. Bring it in, champion the program, get your instructors in there, get the training and really launch it properly so your members see the consistency on the schedule. They see the high level of instruction and they're going to keep on coming back for more. They need to hang on to these members because they can easily spend their hours somewhere else.
They can move around. Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. And I think then you're obviously developing great programs for these gyms, but I'm sure you're advising them in other ways. So maybe tell me a little bit, just got maybe a few questions on, maybe start off, what is the best practice for a gym that's trying to improve its overall, say, branding and marketing? Where should they start if they're thinking about improving something like that, big or small?
Yeah. I mean, know and understand your brand and effectively communicate it. Whether it's, social media is, of course, huge. Have a smart social media presence and campaign. Definitely hire a strong team, whether it's a marketing team, a group fitness team, and work together on, having cohesiveness across, not be so siloed. So the group fitness understands what the personal trainers are doing, what the sales team is doing. I think everybody needs to be on the same page. And, pay for your team to be educated. Bring them to the URSAs or the ideas. Let them see what else is out there. Get out of the bubble. Go up the street to 3 or 4 boutique fitness studios, whether you're a boutique or a big gym. Get out there, see what other people are doing. Get educated yourself. Take a seminar. Go to these, not only the conventions to take the classes, but also to take the workshops or listening to the keynote speakers. And seeing what other leaders and managers and salespeople or group fitness people are doing and how they're making a change within their club or studio to make a difference and better convey their brand.
Do you think there's a difference between a good personal trainer and a good group fitness instructor? There's different skills or no?
Yeah, it's a very different experience, a very different, 1 hour. The one-on-one, it takes a certain kind of person. I mean, they're listening to somebody's maybe problems and they're with them for a whole hour and there's one-on-one attention. I think it's very different than the group. It's a little bigger. It's a little more. You're walking around the room. You're working a crowd. So I think the 1 hour or 1.5 hour experience is different. But I think at the end of the day, they need to be very knowledgeable in what they're training. They have to understand body alignment and movement and physiology and cueing and connecting and correcting and professionalism and being inspirational. So there's an overlap, even though it's a little bit of a different animal for sure.
Yeah. Got another one for you. So a lot of the time when I see some of the bigger chains talk about group fitness, you see like a lot of maybe catchphrases like inspiration and community. If you're a big or small, how do you create a unique or an authentic kind of experience for your members that goes a bit deeper than maybe just some of the group fitness buzzwords?
Yeah, I think it's that almost like you have to contract to expand. It's like it's okay to step back and really do you. Like let the clubs or the studios kind of understand what their offering is. Like there's a million water companies out there, there's so many brands of water and it's just water. How do they differentiate themselves? I think that's the same thing with clubs. It's almost like, I know the buzzwords are, like you said, community or brand or, but really be real when communicating that to your members. Just be very, I think, authentic in your mission and what you really are offering and not trying to be everything to everybody because they'll see that and go somewhere else.
Yeah. So a lot of people who listen to our podcast are running, smaller boutiques, independent studios. One of the things I heard you speak about recently was the importance of becoming, a thought leader or be seen as an expert in order to get the word out about your studio or your brand. You're obviously somebody who's done this successfully yourself. How do you go about that?
Yeah, I think that's huge. And yes, I did talk about that. I think when you're an instructor, a small group instructor, a group fitness instructor, or even an owner, a manager, or somebody just working within the gym, look a little bit outside of just your job. Communicate the why. Why are you there? What is your purpose? And I feel when you start to communicate that and not be, just like, okay, here's my moves and here's my steps and this is my music and this is what I'm doing. This is my job for the hour, more or less open yourself up to communicating all of the knowledge that you have and what it motivates you to do it in the first place. And I think people will start listening to you and understanding why they are with you for that hour, or why they are walking into your gym. It's like teaching your child kind of things that is not just so rote, but it's kind of the passion of your family or what's important as a family or as a person. And then I think people will start listening to you and understanding because it's more of the why you're doing it. Yeah,
no, I think that makes a lot of sense. For someone who is listening now and say they've got a lot of technical expertise and think that they could build a business like yours where they could have certifications, do training, what sort of questions do they need to ask themselves before they know they're ready to jump into something like this?
Yeah, I mean, be prepared for a lot of work. I mean, you're not going to, just start and all of a sudden the money's going to be coming in and, you may have all these skills, but all of these skill sets, you're not going to be able to do yourself. You have to realize there's the entrepreneur and then there's the manager and then there's the person that is the practitioner. So I think what we learned, maybe it took us a little too long to learn this, which we couldn't do everything ourselves. And I think what I would have changed in our business, and Stacey, I'm sure too, is we would have really brought in a really solid team quicker, bringing in people like the tech people that do what they do, or the salespeople, or, the social media experts. Really create a team pretty quickly. And yourself as the owner or the entrepreneur, keep it open to where you're scaling and looking for great partnerships or good opportunities, and oversee the practitioners within your business. Because if you're just a great tech person, you're not going to be able to build a business being behind your computer building just your website. That is just one facet of a very multifaceted business. And you need to, bring on a really great team pretty quickly to scale faster. And I would also say find money, definitely find investors, family or friends, to help drive it, because it is costly. And if you get people that believe in you and your message and your brand and your product, bring them in with your passion and use that funding and capital to build the team and, communicate your message and get out into the world quickly.
Yeah. I'm guessing, learning fast is going to be a key to being successful. What sort of resources did you have or do you recommend, be it mentoring or books to read or podcasts to listen to? Where can somebody learn fast?
I'm on Audible all the time. Start with Why, the E-Myth Revisited, Pitch Anything. There's a lot of great top of mind. There's a lot of great books on Audible, but then there's a lot of great podcasts like your podcast, Fitness Business Podcast. I know Matthew Janusek, he has Escape Your Limits. It's all within the fitness industry. And you can really learn from people just like we are talking right now, best practices, what they messed up on, what they would have done differently. Definitely books and definitely podcasts. And there's a ton out there on fitness for sure. And building a brand and becoming an entrepreneur and business owner.
Yeah, and I think the obvious question then is, what would you say was the biggest mistake you made or where you fell down the most in the first couple of years?
Not getting funding fast enough, for sure. Get the funding, get the help. Listen, we don't regret anything. We bootstrapped, whatever you want to call it. And everything we created on our own. And there's something to be said about that. We've got a great product right now. And now we're looking for fuel to scale, but that's okay because now it's a proven product. If you get it earlier, that seed money, or that's just, maybe the business hasn't even started. But I think that's one thing we would have done differently, is just get a little more capital to get out there a little quicker.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Tell me about your relationship with your co-founder. How do you make something like that work?
Yeah, it's a great question, because the great story is we've been best friends since 9th grade in high school. So we were friends for many, many, many years. We went our different directions and then we came back. We both found fitness a little later in life through Pilates and bar. And, Stacey, my co-founder, one day was like, you know what? Hey, we could do this on our own. We don't need to teach for anybody else. We don't need to work for anybody else. Let's do this. So I raised my hand and was like, all right, yes, let's do it. But, working together, it's definitely like a marriage for sure, especially when you know somebody so well. But, one thing about Stacey and myself, or me, is we have very similar skill set. We're both very creative. I'm the program director for SoulBody Bar Unhitched. She writes for SoulBody Bar. We did hire program directors for our power class. So we have similar skill sets, but we started to just kind of branch out. She's more social media. I do more of the business end of it, the website or taxes or agreements, not so much of the fun stuff. And Stacey's very strong with sales and networking and communication. But of course, we both do sales. So we have similar skill sets, but we've learned to divide and conquer and where our talents lie. After that, then we started bringing on some strong team members, somebody to physically write the choreography notes, somebody to design the website, help with marketing materials. And even Stacey does a lot of the social media, but we have a team. We have our master trainers. So then we just started building the team and then together separately overseeing aspects of that team.
What's key to a successful business relationship like this?
Definitely respect and listening to each other and having faith in the other, not micromanaging each other, for sure. Somebody thinks, hey, I think this is a good avenue. Trust them. Great. Go for it. It is not like no micromanaging. And I think we've done that really well.
Okay. Hey, we're getting near the end of the half hour now, Ann Marie. Maybe leave us with just, for people out there that may be working for a big box gym, a big fitness brand, what are the things they should be thinking about when it comes to boutique fitness?
For people working for big box, I think take a page from their playbook. Definitely go out there, see what the boutique studios are doing. Get out of your office, get out of the four walls, get outside the four walls, see what they're doing. Get on the virtual fitness apps as well. There are a lot of them. And as big box, think about offering programming and classes outside of your four walls. I know Gold's Gym has done a really good job with that. Quite a few other clubs are now not only offering classes in-house, but you can still stay with your brand and experience it in your own home or when you travel. So definitely look at the trends out there with virtual fitness. Get out there and take classes and get out there, go to, like I said, the URSAs and the IDEAs and the SEWs and, listen to the keynote speakers, listen to experts in your industry of what they're doing and really think about the culture and your communication of your brand, your culture, and make sure you take the time to interview the people that are part of your team. And not only the people in-house, but like us coming into a club, the programs that you're going to bring in the owners, bring in the founders, see what their programming is like, have their members experience it. Because if you're bringing in outside programming like SoulBody, do your research, experience other programs and make the right choice for your club. So I think, really come a little more inward to understand your brand, but then go outward and get out there and see what everybody else is doing just to be more aware of, other offerings and best practices.
Okay, that's very useful. And given your experience working with the bigger brands and from building a business yourself, what advice can you leave some of the smaller independent studio owners that might be listening?
I think the smaller studio owners, a lot of them are doing it out of passion, but at the same time, it is a business. There's those that are, killing it. And then there's those that, are a little smaller, still trying to build a following. And I think that's okay because that's, more of a passion project. So for those smaller studios, again, stay really true to why you got into the business in the first place. And it can't just be you, the studio owner, because then you're going to get burnt out. You're teaching every class. If you've created a small boutique or a small studio, get the team that breathes your vision and together be a brand and experience for your members and just have some good people behind you that could support you so that you can do more outreach and not be so much in the business, but you can work on the business.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think you're right. It's all about that next level of people who can help you grow the business more than you can do it on your own. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. I'm sure there's people listening who may want to be one of your ambassadors, who may want to get you into their gyms. How can people get in touch with you?
Sure. Well, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach us, email at info@soulbody.fitness. It's info at soul, soulbody.fitness. Our website is www.soulbody.fitness. And we have trainings all over. You can see our schedule on the website. We'd welcome anybody to come take a class. There's no prerequisite. And if you're a gym owner or an instructor, reach out to us and we'd love to have a chat.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm sure hopefully get one or two people getting in touch with you from that. Ann Marie, I just want to say it's been a pleasure talking to you. I definitely learned a lot on many fronts. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Kevin, thank you so much. Such a pleasure. And good luck to you guys too. Let's stay connected.
I'm sure we'll cross paths.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.